Lamed Zayin, 37a. As the lines get wider, okay. The Mishnah speaks about shvus, rabbinic fences, things you're not permitted to do on Yom Tiv. Kol elu b'Yom Tiv omer u'minu. We learned in the Mishnah, v'shilin derech haruba b'Yom Tiv. We said we equate Yom Tiv and Shabbos. Whatever's not permitted on Yom Tiv is not permitted on Shabbos. And yet we find the Mishnah says you're permitted to drop fruit through the skylight on the roof, avlo b'Shabbos. Right? Meshilim derech haruba Yom Tiv avlo b'Shabbos. Omer Abloza Lokasha. That price is not difficult. Our Mishnah said we don't differentiate. What's permitted on one's permitted on the other. What's not permitted on one's not permitted on the other. And here we have a Brisa says the fruit on Yom Tov you permitted to lower it, to drop it through the sky, but not on Shabbos. Omer of Yosef Lokasha. Ho Reb Elazar, Ho Reb Yeshua. The Tanya. Oza is Benosh Nof Labor. Mentioned this yesterday. A mother and its child you're not permitted to slaughter on the same day. So let's say they first fell into a pit. So to take them out of the pit takes a tremendous amount of exertion. So for Ochel Nefesh we permit it. But so take out one, not both. So how could you, but if you leave the other one in there, it could die in the pit. But for the sake of not suffering a financial loss, you can't violate the Yom Tov. So that means it has to be related to Ochel Nefesh that you could slaughter. So both you can. So how could we somehow come up with a solution how to take both of them out of the pit within the context of Ochel Nefesh? Where you can't slaughter both. Rav Lezo malas arishan amnas v'shachto. V'shachto. The first one you take out with having in mind. You make an evaluation which one you take out. You take it, you slaughter it. V'asheni oslo parnosa b'mkomo kedeshli almost. The other one, you feed, you provide its needs in the pit, but you can't take it out. You provide its needs to the point that it shouldn't die. Rabbi Shulman malas arishan amnas v'shachto. Ben v'shachto. You take the first one out. With the mind, you're going to slaughter it, but you don't slaughter it because you make an evaluation. You know, maybe the one in the pit is better than this one. Then afterwards, through the subterfuge, he takes the second one out of the pit. And now he makes his decision. He makes. So what do you see? That we're much more lenient on Yom Tiv. Let's see. So Rashi says. Rabbi Lezer saved the Tani Eben Yom Tov Shabbos Shvus Gozo Shabbos Gozo. I feel the behefsid moment. Rabbi Lezer, our Mishnah is a trip to Rabbi Lezer. We don't make any differentiation between Shabbos and Yom Tov. Shlohiter Lahalos Osas Benom the hefsid moment. Reish L'Ktani Mashilim B'Yom Tov the hefsid moment. Rabbi Shui. Here, the Mishnah says that you're permitted to drop fruits through the skylight. Why are you dropping fruits? Because it's going to rain. So we allow you to exert yourself for the sake of not taking a financial loss. And yet we find over here, when it's in the pit, even though you're going to incur a financial loss, we don't let you take it out. So that's a Rebbe Lezer. Our mission, it says, for the sake of financial loss, we allow you to exert yourself. That's Rabbi Yeshua, like taking out the animal out of the pit, both animals out of the pit. Also says, no shane will turn the shloshneim hayom. You're not permitted to slaughter both on the same day. Because it's not obvious you're doing it to prevent a financial loss. Because a person will say the first one he took out is a thin animal. So that's Vasheni Yofim, and that's why. The person himself, when he takes it out, he's taking it out not to take a financial loss. Except he takes it in a way that it could be perceived by others. The reason why he's taking out the second one, because he has to determine which one is a better quality animal. So each one he's taking out is for the sake of what? Of Ochel Nefesh. Okay? So we see that Rabbi Yeshua allows you for financial reasons to exert yourself. So therefore, our Mishnah, when it says you drop the fruits through the skylight for financial loss, is going like Rabbi Yeshua, not like Rabbi Lezer. Okay? On that thing, only Abai says no. One thing is not doing nothing. Over there, why does Rabbi Lezer say, for the sake of not taking financial loss, we don't let you exert yourself? Because he says you actually provide the animal's needs in the pit. So if you can provide the needs in the pit, there's no reason to take it out. It's because there's a way to circumvent the financial loss. Here, the rain is coming. The fruits are dry. If they get wet, they get ruined. But over here, we have no solution. So that's the reason why he allows it. Rav Lezer would allow it there too, but you have a way to work it out. Over there, because you could actually conceal it in the subterfuge. The person thinks he's taking out both because he wants to make an evaluation, which is about animal. That's the reason why he allows you. Not today. But over here it's blatantly clear. Why is he exerting himself putting the fruits through the skylight? Because he doesn't want them to get ruined from the rain. Maybe over here Yeshua would say you're not permitted. So our Mishnah it won't necessarily be attributed to Rabbi Yeshua. Whole different thing. It's machlus b'shem sidnan. Shemor me'motzin lo sakoto lo halulov lo sasefer rushas harabim. You're not permitted to transport because he holds. We only say mitocham what? It has to be ochel nefesh, literally for the sake of food. But if you want to accommodate other needs, the lulav, the child, the sefer Torah, not still matir. He still permits it. Yeah. So therefore, it's going like Beis Hillel. That's the reason why we allow you to take the fruit off. Right? When does Beis Shammai says you're not permitted, that's where you're transporting from domain to domain. But over here, tiltul, avol tiltul lo otu, avol tiltul lo. But just transporting something, maybe it would allow you to take the fruits. To transport from domain to domain, that he's not going to allow you. But to take the fruits and drop them through the skylight, then maybe he will allow it. It's two separate issues. On that, the Gemara says, what's the reason why you're not permitted to transport something which is like muktzah? Why? Because they're concerned if a person can transport, he may transport it out the front door. Okay? So that's the reason. Let's see Rashi. There you go. Lohucho tzor shlo tzor kabi tilto shlo tzor chem gazin afilu kabi hepsid mom beisileo v'tzor shlo tzor muter b'hay taimo b'tilt nami lo gazin atu til av tzor tzor tchilo tzor yedei tilto chol ma shegozru enu elo b'shvut tzor v'hay gavno v'ad lo gozru al tilto kelim. So he says, so if that's the case, why are you permitted to transport vessels and food? I mean, you have to function, you have to eat, you have to have a vessel. Simchas Yom Tov. Okay. Okay. Now, next we should discuss is halacha on Yom Tov. On Shabbos, there's a thing called tchum. You're not permitted to go beyond the city limits. What's the maximum? 2,000 amos outside the city. What about if he wants to extend the tchum? Right? He puts food at, let's say, the 2,000 mark, and that allows him an additional 2,000. That means in one direction he can walk 4,000 amos. Okay? So the first 4,000 amos are associated with the city, and the second 2,000, he extended it because he put food there. But once he walks, what about, let's say this is to the south, what about to the north? Now he can't walk an inch out of the city to the north. Because he's expended all the direction to the what? To the south. If he makes the tchum. Okay, so now, let's say Reuven puts his tchum to the south, and Shimon puts his tchum to the north. So that means where Reuven can go, Shimon can't go. Where Shimon go, Reuven can't go. Right? Because they're going in opposite directions. Now, on Yom Tov, Reuven borrows something from Shimon. We say that one's possessions, whether it's a food item or it's a vessel, identifies with the person. So, if let's say Reuven could go maximum 4,000 amos to the north, that means all his kelim also could be taken there. His vessels, whatever was in his possession when Yom Tov began. Let's say now Shimon should want to borrow one of those vessels. To what point is he permitted to transport those vessels? Only to the point of when Shabbos Yom Tov began, that item was locked into that tchum. So he can't take it where he could go. And vice versa, same thing. That was in Shimon's domain and identified with him when Yom Tov began are limited to that domain. He can't take it. Just because he could go there, he can't take what belonged to Shimon. That's called karagle. It's like the legs of the one who owned it when Shabbos or Yom Tov began. Okay? Okay, so let's see. Because let's make a case, let's say a person bakes bread, and he borrows multiple ingredients, salt and spice and water. That bread is locked into everybody's tchum. Because since everybody had contributed to the ingredients of that bread, that means the bread itself can't be taken wherever you want to take it. It's limited within the radius that every one of those individuals is permitted to go. But if any one of those individuals is not permitted to go there, you can't take that bread there. Of course, we say that the tchum is determined when Yom Tov began, that item identifies with the person. Okay? So let's go.
There's also an average for the leadership if there was some eating bread, and when you use bread as an example. The differences between Yom Tov and Shabbos, maybe you could do it for Yom Tov and...
No, but about tchum, you have to put bread there, or you can put a certain amount of food there.
I mean, what the item you're talking about. $1 whenever...
Well, that's only Yom Tov. Yom Tov. Well, let's say you borrow food. You have an Erev in the town. And you want to go take it out of the town. You can't take it out of town. Okay? Let's see. Habehema v'akelim karagle abalim. The animal and the vessels identify with the legs of the one who owns them, meaning you cannot take them anywhere where the owner cannot go. That's to be karagle habalim. Hamosa behemto libno l'roel. What about a person who gives over his animal to his son to take care of it, like to be the semi-shepherd or to a shepherd? Even though it was in the shepherd's domain, jurisdiction, when Yom Tov began, but whose sheep is it? It's not because he takes care of it, it's the one who actually owns it. So who owns it? The Baal Havayis owns it. So therefore it's Karagli Abaylim. Kelim Yuchodim Le'echod Min Achim Shebebayis. You had a vessel which was unique to one of the brothers, a garment, whatever it was. El Karaglov. Meaning, even though initially everything in the house is jointly used by everyone, but if there's a garment, an article of clothing which is specifically his, that means that it identifies with him, not with the other brothers. Yeah. What about its type? It's a family raincoat. Whenever it rains, if it's available, the person puts it on. Right? That type of garment. That identifies with him. But it's something which has a generic type of profile, then harelu kimokim sheholchim. So then it identifies with all the locations that the brothers could walk. So if you could have a very limited radius. You understand what I'm saying?
If they all co-owned it.
We're talking about if it wasn't something specific to one brother, that means all brothers have the interest. If they all have an interest, that means the item is going to be limited to where they could go. Where each of them. Where all of them could go. Right. Where all of them could go. We're going to have it's the closing case of the Mishnah, ingredients of the bread. Yeah. Further in the Mishnah. So again, the animal and the vessels identify with the legs of the owner. A person gives over his animal to his son or to a shepherd. Also, it's just given there for safekeeping. Certain vessels are article clothing which are unique to one of the brothers. Again, because it's unique to him, it identifies with his. Whatever, something which is not designated for him, they're not unique to him. It's the location where the common area where they all go. But if each of them made a Erev in a different direction, it's going to be a problem. A person borrows a vessel from his fellow, Erev Yom Tiv, it identifies with the lender. Okay. Shebebayis Harelu Karaglov. He identified with him. Shem Yuchodim Harelu K'mok Sholvon. Hashoel Kli B'Chaver. A person bought Meir of Yom Tov Karagli Hashoel. See, it's interesting. Very interesting. If you borrow a vessel, I told you, if you borrow something for Yom Tov, let's say I lend you, you borrow something, let's say for a week. After I lend it, you say, I'd like it back. You're not able to give it back because you borrowed it for a week. So it's considered yours, like your personal item for a week. After a week, I have to give it back because you only agreed to release it for a week. So you're called to show it for a week. So that's the case for all intents and purposes. This item is treated with as if it's the shoel's, as if it's the borrower's. Right? He lends him a coat for the winter months. So during the winter, that coat is his coat. Even if the lender would want to take it back, can't take it back unless the borrower agrees to give it back to him. Okay? So that's what we're speaking about. The show kli mechaver me'er v'yomtiv, kiragle hashoel. It identifies with the borrower, not with the one who owns it. The yomtiv, whatever he borrows in yomtiv, kiragle hamashi, and it's the lender, because the tchum is determined at the at the entry point of yomtiv. Yeah, a woman borrows for her fellows. Tavlin umayim umelach li'isosa. Okay, to make a bread, hara'elu karagli shteim. The bread itself is considered, has multiple interests in it. Rebuta poter b'mayim. Rebuta says water, not neishem b'mamish. The water was a catalyst to bake the bread, but in terms of the actual taste of the bread, that's unrelated to the water. So it's only we're dealing with the bread versus the case of okay. Yeah, because since it totally evaporates, it's not part integral to the bread. Rashi says something interesting. Ebe mamosh, eini koros lo b'gder v'lo b'isa. Yeah. Let's see Rashi. Yeah, sure, because everything's
Before Yom Tov, it goes
with the borrower.
person who borrows it.
Right, because I told you, because Tchum takes effect immediately in the entry point of Yom Tov, or the entry point of Shabbos.
Oh, so whatever goes into the borrower.
So therefore, if the borrower already had in his possession when Yom Tov began, it identifies with him. That's why I gave you the example. There's a difference. When
There's a difference in time.
No, once you borrow something, you don't have to give it back to the lender. So it's as if his Shabbos or Yom Tov began. So who owns this item now? The borrower. So it's the borrower. So the Tchum is established based on the borrower. That's exactly the principle. Let's say I give you a coat just to watch for me, not to use. And Yom Tov begins. Whose coat is? Well, that coat is based on who actually owns the coat. Because the borrower never borrowed it. It's purely in his house. He's just watching it. So who has usage of the coat? The owner has usage of the coat. So therefore, it would be according to the extent of where he could go. Okay.
And you can borrow and make these arrangements, obviously, on Yom Tov itself.
Let's say you're borrowing food or a garment that you need for Yom Tov. Let's say you have a case. This halacha rule. Person ate a meal at somebody's house, and it was a hot day. He had a coat. He left the coat up there, and now next Shabbos comes. So he left the coat there, and he makes a tchum. He makes an eruv. Does that coat identify with the person's home with the coat where the coat's at, or it identifies with the owner? It would be with the owner, because it's not that it was given to him. He left it there. Okay. Okay. So the Mishnah concludes. Ken isha shola b'chaverta tavlin mayim umelach lisosa. Three things: spices, water, and salt. Harelu ragli shtein. Not shtein. It's really three. Three people. Or it means maybe it all belong to one person holding the other ingredients. Review the poter b'mayim v'nishem b'mamish. The one who contributed the water it doesn't have any significance. Because it's not, once the bread is finished, the water is not noticeable, but the taste is noticeable. Right? One second. Lo Krabdosa. Our Mishnah is not called Krabdosa. What are the name? The time Krabdosa Omer. Amilo Abishol Omer. Halukech Beima Michavero Mer Yom Tif. Person purchases an animal from his fellow before Yom Tif. Abishol Moshelo. Here, I give you cash. I'm buying your animal. You didn't deliver it yet. Now, that animal, actually, we hold most anakolas. The purchase doesn't happen the moment you give money. Rabbinically, they revoked that. Why? Afraid if you pay for something, and let's say a fire should break out, the seller says, "Look, I got my money. Let it burn." So the Chazal said the effect, the kinyan of giving money is not effective. So it's considered like the one who's in possession is if he owns it. So if he owns it, he's going to put out the fire. Otherwise, the buyer would always be in this compromised position. Okay, so this person went, yeah. And the seller did not give over the animal to go into the domain of the buyer. It still identifies with the purchaser. Because actually, one second. So even though he gave it, it's what it's. Okay. What's the name of the road? I feel. Our Mishnah says that if you give over an animal, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Our Mishnah says that if you give it over to the shepherd, it identifies with what? You give it over to the shepherd on Yom Tiv, it identifies with the owner. Rabbi Dosa says in the Bryce here that it identifies with what? With the roer. Okay? Our Mishnah says. It says a person gives an animal to a son or to a roer on Yom Tiv, it's correctly abaylim. Right? And here it says it's correctly a roer. The Talmud goes according to the shepherd. So, right? So the more won't say, Al Mishnah is not one of Rabbi Dosa. Al Mishnah says it's correctly abaylim when you give it to the shepherd, and the Bryce says it's correctly a roer, even if you gave it to on Yom Tiv. Okay, again. Rabbi Yosef mevamilo abisholo me'alokech behemo bechavero me'erav Yom Tov apishlo moshe elo b'Yom Tov hari koragla elokech hamose behemo leroe. You gave an animal to a shepherd apishlo moshe elo b'Yom Tov hari koragla eroe. It's like it identifies with the shepherd. Al Mishnah says no, that even if you give it before Yom Tov or whenever it is, it identifies with the owner. And that's what Rabbi says. I feel to Rabbi Dosa lokash kambro echo kamishne roim. If there's only one shepherd in town, so we say his mindset is it should be by that shepherd. What if you have two shepherds? Sometimes you give one to the other, so it's not so simple. Therefore, that's the reason why it identifies with the owner, not with the shepherd. Rashi. The city has one shepherd who watches all the animals. So the owner, where does he want this animal to be on Yom Tiv? Before Yom Tiv. He wants to be in the domain of the shepherd because there's only one shepherd in town. And our Mishnah is speaking to two shepherds. So the man hasn't yet made up his mind which shepherd he's giving to. So our Mishnah says, there the animal identifies with the owner. If it's not by the royal, if he didn't give it over to the shepherd before Yom Tov. Here he's differentiating. If a town has one shepherd, that means everybody gives their animals to this one shepherd to take care of. Even if you did not give it yet to the shepherd, it identifies with that shepherd. So the animals can only be taken where the shepherd could go. The B'raisa that it says that it's Kiragli Abalim, that identifies with the owner, it's speaking that the two shepherds. If the two shepherds, the person hasn't made up his mind which one he's giving it to. So if he hasn't made up his mind which he's giving it to, so who does it identify with? With the owner. If it's going to be physically in the domain of the shepherd, and there's one shepherd, then it doesn't identify with the owner, with one who actually owns the animal. But if you have two shepherds, although he's going to make a decision on Shabbos to give it to which one, but when is Tchum determined by? When Shabbos begins. And he hasn't yet made up his mind which one he's giving. Is he giving to Ruvain shepherd or Shimon shepherd?
Is the question being explained, or could also be it's not clear?
The Gemara's getting involved in Breira. No, the Gemara's getting involved in Breira, because if you hold Breira, even though you haven't made up your mind, whichever one it's meant to be, it should identify with that shepherd. We're saying if one shepherd, it's understood, it's limited to the Tchum of that shepherd. Two, because he hasn't yet made up his mind. It's the one that I will give it to tomorrow. Good, but if you hold Breira, let it be determined that's the one who was meant to receive it. So retroactively, the Tchum of that shepherd should affect the animal. Okay? Dekonami, we're able to deduce from Mishnah, the Tana live no or leroeh. So we're saying the roeh is similar to the sun. Yeah. Dekonami, that's this Mishneh Roim. He gave it to his son and to the shepherd. We rule like Reb Dosa. So the Gemara asks, What's the stira? We differentiate between the Mishnah. The Mishnah is speaking about there's 2 roim, and the Bryce speaking there's ro echad. Right? So we're asked, "V'lavu kimno kam b'roech kam b'shnei roim." We already answered it. It's not a stira. We could rule like Rabbi Yochanan, right? That we rule like Rabbi Dosa. That's karagle. It's karagle haroeh because there's only one shepherd. Turn around on two people borrow a garment, a shirt. B'shutfis. They're borrowing it together. Zeh leilech bo shachris, the Beis HaMikdash. One wears it to shachris in the morning. Zeh likonos arvis, the Beis HaMikdash. The other one uses that same garment to go to a banquet, to a drinking pub at nighttime. Zeh orav olav l'tzov, zeh orav olav l'dorim. And each one made a tchum in the opposite direction. One made it to the south, one made it to the north. Zeh she'orav olav l'tzofen mahalach tzofen k'ragle mi she'orav olav l'dorim. Zeh she'orav olav l'dorim mahalach dorim k'ragle mi she'orav olav l'tzofen. Okay, we'll stop here.